Kyla walked silently through the dark streets of the old city. She wanted revenge. Years ago, a vampire had taken her life and made her like them. Now she was strong, but the pain of the past was still in her heart. Rain fell lightly on her face. She saw a small shop with lights in the window. It was a clock shop. Kyla knew that the clockmaker could see time in a special way. Maybe he could help her find the vampire who changed her life. Kyla opened the door. The shop was full of clocks. Ticking sounds were everywhere. Oren, the clockmaker, looked at her calmly. "I am looking for the vampire who made me this way. Help me, or get out of my way," said Kyla. Oren's eyes were quiet. "Some revenge can change time. Are you ready for that, Kyla?" Kyla walked further into the shop. She knew she needed Oren's help, but she also knew she could not trust him completely. Kyla felt a shiver as Oren smiled at her. His smile was calm, almost teasing, and it made her uneasy. She did not know if she should trust him. Yet, she needed his help. Kyla started, but stopped. Her voice shook slightly. "I need to find the vampire who made me like this. He ruined my life." Oren nodded slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. "I can help you," he said softly. "But remember, revenge is not easy. Some things you do can change everything, even time itself." Kyla stepped closer, her wet hair sticking to her face. She could hear the soft ticking of the clocks echoing in the room like whispers of the past. She felt a strange connection to this place, as if it were alive, and Oren, as if he already knew everything about her. "Are you ready?" Oren asked, a faint smile still on his lips. Kyla nodded, gripping her fists. "I'm ready." The room seemed to grow colder, the ticking louder. Outside, the rain continued to fall, washing the streets of the old city. Inside, Kyla knew that every second mattered. She was on the edge of a path that could change everything: her life, her revenge, even her very soul. The room felt colder with every step Kyla took. The ticking of the clocks became louder, echoing in her ears like a warning. She shivered, not just from the cold, but from the weight of what she was about to do. Every second mattered now. Oren watched her closely, his calm eyes following her movements. "You feel it, don't you?" he said softly. "Time is alive here. It remembers everything, your past, and the choices you will make." Kyla nodded slightly. She could feel the truth in his words. The shop was strange, almost alive, as if it were breathing. Along with her, she could feel the presence of every second, every tick, pressing on her heart. "I need to find him," she whispered, her voice strong but quiet. "The one who made me this. The one who ruined my life." Oren moved closer, pointing to a peculiar clock on a small table. Its hands spun strangely, and it emitted a faint blue light. "This clock does more than show time," he explained. "It shows paths, choices, possibilities. If you use it, be careful. One wrong move, and you may lose everything you hold dear." Kyla stepped forward, her wet hair clinging to her face. She could hear the ticking of the clocks like whispers from the past, guiding her forward. Her anger burned. But now there was something else: focus. She had waited years for this moment, and now the path lay before her. She took a deep breath, ready to make her move. "I don't care what it takes," she said firmly. "I have to do this." Oren smiled faintly, his eyes gleaming with something she could not name. "Very well," he said. "Then let us see where time will take you." The clocks ticked louder. The shop seemed alive. Outside, the rain continued to wash the old city streets, and inside, Kyla stepped into the beginning of a path that could change everything: her revenge, her fate, even her very soul. Kyla stared at the strange glowing clock. Its hands moved in impossible ways, spinning backward, forward, and sometimes stopping in the middle of nowhere. She could feel the power in it, time itself bending at her fingertips. Her mind flashed with memories: the vampire who'd taken her life, the moments she had lost, the pain she had felt for years. Each tick of the clocks echoed like a reminder, a heartbeat of her past. I can change it," she whispered to herself. "I can see what could have been." Oren stepped closer, his calm presence grounding her. "Yes," he said softly, But remember, Kyla, time is delicate. Every action ripples. One wrong choice, and the consequences will follow you forever. Revenge may be tempting, but it is a dangerous path. Kyla took a deep breath. Her anger was still there, burning in her chest, but now it was sharper, focused. She could feel her heart racing as she reached out to the clock. Her fingers trembled slightly, but her resolve was stronger than ever. She placed her hand on the clock, and suddenly the room seemed to change. The ticking became louder, echoing around her. The air felt thicker, heavier, as if time itself was watching her, testing her. A vision appeared in front of her glimpse of the vampire who had destroyed her life. He was laughing, unaware of the storm that would come. Kyla's eyes narrowed. "It ends with me," she said firmly. Oren watched silently, a faint smile on his lips. "Then use it wisely," he said. "Time will show you the path, but the choices, they are yours alone." Oren watched silently, a faint smile on his lips. "Then use it wisely," he said. "Time will show you the path, but the choices, they are yours alone." Kyla felt a strange calmness amid the chaos. She had waited years for this moment, and now, for the first time, she had the power to act. Her revenge, her fate, and her soul were all on the line. Every second mattered, and she would not waste a single one. The clocks suddenly stopped. For one long second there was no sound at all. No ticking, no rain, no breath. The world felt frozen. Kyla felt the air change around her. A strange pressure wrapped around her body, like invisible hands pulling at her skin and her thoughts. The glowing clock in front of her shone brighter, its blue light filling the shop. Then time broke. The clock hands spun wildly, faster than before, moving backward and forward at the same time. The walls of the shop seemed to stretch and bend. The ticking returned, but now it was chaotic, loud, almost angry. Kyla gasped as images flooded her mind. She saw the old city years ago. The streets were younger, cleaner. Lanterns burned brighter. And then she saw him, the vampire. He stood in the shadows smiling, just as cruel as she remembered. This was the night everything had changed. "I'm here," Kyla whispered. Her voice trembled, but her eyes stayed focused. The pull grew stronger. Her feet lifted slightly from the floor. The shop faded, the clocks melting into light and shadow. Oren's figure blurred, but his voice reached her clearly. "Remember," he said calmly, as if time itself listened to him. "You can observe, or you can act. Choose wisely." The light exploded. Kyla felt herself falling not down, but backward. Through moments, through memories, through pain. Her heart raced as the vision became real. Suddenly, her feet touched the ground. The rain was gone. She stood in a dark alley of the old city. Years in the past. Voices echoed nearby. Footsteps. Laughter. Time had not just shown her the past. It had taken her there. And somewhere in this city, the vampire who ruined her life was still alive and aware that his fate was about to change. The street was quiet, but not empty. Soft lantern light covered the old stone road. People walked slowly, talking and laughing. They did not know that danger was close. From the shadows of a narrow alley, a tall man stepped forward. He moved calmly, like he had all the time in the world. His coat was dark and long, and it moved slightly with the night wind. His skin was pale, and his face looked calm, almost kind. But his eyes were cold. This was the vampire. He walked under the lantern light without fear. He looked like a normal man, but something about him felt wrong. His smile was slow and quiet, as if he was enjoying a secret. People passed him, unaware of who he really was. Kyla watched from the darkness. Her body became still. Her heart beat faster, but her face showed no emotion. She knew him at once. The same walk, the same calm smile. Time had not changed him. Her hands slowly closed into fists. Memories rushed into her mind, sharp and painful. This was the man who had ruined her life. The man who had taken everything from her. The vampire stopped for a moment. He turned his head slightly, as if he felt something. His eyes moved across the street searching. Kyla held her breath and pressed herself closer to the stone wall. After a second, he smiled. again, and continued walking. Kyla did not move, not yet. This was not the end, it was the beginning. The vampire disappeared into the crowd. His dark coat blended with the moving shadows. The street felt normal again. But Kyla knew it was not. She waited a few seconds, then she moved. Kyla followed him at a safe distance. She stayed, close to the walls, using the darkness to hide. Her steps were light and careful. The sound of the city covered her movement. The vampire walked slowly, like he was enjoying the night. He stopped near a small square, where people were talking and drinking. Music played, softly in the air. He looked relaxed. Too relaxed. Kyla watched his hands. She watched his face. She remembered everything. The fear, the pain, the night her life ended. Her heart beat faster, but her mind stayed clear. "I won't lose you again," she whispered. Suddenly, the vampire turned into a narrow street. The light was weaker. There, the shadows were deeper. Kyla followed. The street grew quiet. The sounds of people faded away. Only footsteps remained his and hers. Then the vampire stopped. Slowly, he turned around. His eyes met hers. For the first time in many years, they were face to face again, and time seemed to hold its breath. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The narrow street was silent. The lantern light above them flickered softly. The air felt heavy, like it was waiting. The vampire looked at Kyla carefully. His calm smile returned. Slow and confident. "You look familiar," he said. His voice was smooth and quiet. "Have we met before?" Kyla did not answer at once. She stood straight and looked into his eyes. She felt anger rising inside her, but she kept it under control. "Yes," she said finally. "We have." The vampire raised an eyebrow. He studied her face more closely. Something in his expression changed. Not fear but interest. "Interesting," he said. "I never forget a face." Kyla took a small step forward. Her heart was beating fast. Now, but her voice stayed steady. "Then remember this one," she said. "You changed my life." For the first time, the vampire's smile faded. His eyes darkened slightly, as if a memory was trying to surface. "I changed many lives," he replied calmly. "You will have to be more specific." Kyla felt the pain return, sharp and deep. She remembered the night, the blood, the darkness. Her hands trembled, but she did not look away. "You took everything from me," she said quietly. "And you don't even remember." The vampire was silent for a second. Then he smiled again, but this time it was colder. "Ah," he said softly. "Then you survived." The street seemed to grow darker around them. And Kyla knew one thing clearly now. This meeting was not an accident. Time had brought them together. And it was not finished yet. Kyla took another step closer. The stone street felt cold under her feet. She did not break eye contact. "Then remember this," she said. Her voice was quiet but strong. "You changed my life." The vampire's smile slowly faded. The confidence in his face weakened for a brief moment. His eyes searched her expression, as if looking for something. "Lost in time." "I changed many lives," he replied calmly. "You must be more specific." The words cut deep. Kyla felt the old pain rise again, sharp and heavy. Her hands shook slightly, but she kept them at her sides. "You took everything from me," she said, "and you don't even remember." For a second, the vampire said nothing. The lantern light flickered again, casting long shadows on the walls. Then he smiled. This time the smile was colder. "Ah," he said softly. "Then you survived." The silence returned, thicker than before. Kyla understood something in that moment. This meeting was not an accident. Time had brought them together, and this was only the beginning. The vampire looked at Kyla one last time. His eyes stayed on her face, calm but unreadable. "Be careful," he said quietly. "Some memories are better left alone." He stepped back into the shadows. One step, then another. The darkness slowly swallowed him. The sound of his footsteps faded, like a memory slipping away. Kyla did not follow, not yet. She stood alone in the narrow street. The lantern above her flickered softly. The night felt colder now. Her heart was still racing, but her mind was clear. She had seen him. He was real, and he was close. The past was no longer behind her. It was walking the same streets, and somewhere in the city, time was already moving toward its next choice.